Hello everyone and welcome to our calculus notes for section 4.5 on integration by substitution. Today we're going to start off by doing a little pattern recognition and a little review for you, going all the way back to derivatives. So finding the derivative of a composite function, we get the chain rule for differentiation. So if we're taking the derivative of a function at some other function, it's going to be the derivative of that function at the other function, but then we have to multiply by the derivative of that inside function as well. So what we're going to do now is take this idea and work backwards. So now we're going to be finding the antiderivative of a composite function. So basically what we're going to look at here is if we can see this pattern in our integrand, then we know it's going to integrate to just be this. Okay, so it really just switched that around. So the integral of f of g of x times g prime of x dx is the antiderivative f at g of x. And then we have our plus c because notice this is indefinite integration. So note the integrand consists of an outside function f, an inside function g, and then the derivative g prime of x is a factor of the integrand. So g prime of x is right here. So outside function, inside function, the derivative of the inside function is just going to be the antiderivative of f at the inside function g of x. Okay, so let's see if we can recognize this pattern. When you look at this integral, we have x squared plus 1 squared times 2x dx. So we have a multiplication right here, and we really haven't learned how to deal with that. One thing we could do is we could actually square this and then distribute the 2x to everything, and we could find the integral that way. But we're going to try to take a little bit of a shortcut. So we need to identify what is our f function. Well, the f function right here is actually going to be squared. Okay, so there's your f. And this right here is going to be your inside function. So it's x squared plus 1 squared, so that's your inside function, or your g of x. So I'm just going to write this here. G of x is going to be x squared plus 1. And now what we want to do is look for our g prime of x, because that would be on the outside here. So g prime of x is 2x dx. And you can see that this is right here, 2x dx. So we do have the function of an inside function times the derivative of that function. And so it's just going to be the antiderivative of our f function. Okay, so squared is going to go up to cubed. Okay, and then divided by that 3 as well. Now what we put in here is that g of x function. So we're going to put our x squared plus 1 right there. And notice then all we have left is plus c. Okay, so the biggest thing is just recognizing the pattern. So it's a function of another function and then times the derivative of that function. So let's see if it works in this case. So we have 5 cosine of 5x. So looking at this, our cosine is going to be our function. The 5x is going to be our g of x. And we need to find, is g prime of x out there? Okay, well if g of x equals 5x, then g prime of x is going to equal 5 dx. And you can see here's your 5 and here's your dx. So everything is laid out in this pattern, f of g of x times g prime of x. So all we need to do is find what is the antiderivative of cosine. Well, that's sine. And then instead of putting x here, we're actually going to put g of x, which was 5x. And then plus c. Alright, so that's basic pattern recognition. I want you to give these two a try on your own. Go ahead and pause the video and then come on back when you're done to check your work. Alright, welcome back. So you should have found that your function here was something cubed. And your inside function was x squared minus 1. And notice that its derivative of 2x is on the outside. So when you do that, you just have your x squared minus 1, and then instead of cubed, it'll be to the 4th over 4, and then plus c. In the next one here, your function was actually sine of x. Okay, and then your inside function was your x cubed, and we need to look for its derivative, which would be 3x squared dx. Well, here's your 3x squared, and here's your dx. And notice sometimes they separate those, so you just have to be on the lookout and put them together. So the derivative of sine is negative cosine, right there. And then your inside function was x cubed. And then, of course, you have your plus c in both of these. All right, so that is basic pattern recognition.